Hi, it's me again. It's Dr. Bernardini, and I'm going to talk about straw phonation. I'm not going to get into a lot of the science of it because honestly, there's so much stuff on YouTube already that you can find out all of that yourself. I'll just give you the short version, and that is that it's kind of like clogging up a pipe. Because our mouth and the tube that we sing through from the trachea, chest voice, chest, trachea, all the way through the mouth and the nasopharynx out this way, and our mouth even shapes that tube. The length of that tube gets, and the width of that tube, when we sing, ah, think of it like a blow dryer. A lot of air gets put out. But if you take that blow dryer and you make it very condensed to a small opening, a very, very small opening, that air kind of backs up into the blow dryer a little bit. And we get this equalized pressure right here. The supraglottal, or above the glottis or the vocal folds, gets to a certain pressure, and below the glottis or below the vocal folds, we get a certain pressure, and those pressures even up and cause the vocal folds to come up and square and come together. And they come together with ease through aerodynamics, as opposed to coming together through pressing or making pressure within the throat through the false vocal folds. And while you might like that sound because it seems really loud in your head, the problem with it is that it can be detrimental, and it can cause you to have a higher incidence of some vocal problems, meaning maybe vocal fold, swelling, false fold involvement can cause swelling in the cords themselves. It can be kind of a pain to have to go to the ear, nose, and throat doctor and say, why am I sore, or why am I hoarse? So you want to practice using straw phonation so that you get used to and you make neural pathways for good vocalization and good singing habits. Now I have a couple of different straws here, a variety of things. One is, you'll recognize it, it's a straw from bubble tea. I love me some bubble tea. Very good. So, I can use it, and it won't quite cause that pipe to stop up so much. I'll have a little less vocal pressure, but in many ways, if I'm a beginner at this, it will be so much easier. So I just take this. Let's say I want to go, right? I'm going to do that right here. Oh yes, I have a hole in my straw. I don't know if you can see that or not. So I'm getting some air leakage. Oh, that's a bummer. There's a hole in both sides. So, but you can see it makes a lot of really raucous bubbles. But for our purposes, a hole in my straw is a bummer, so I don't want that. The other thing I have here is a handy dandy metal straw. And I like it a lot because I can wash it and clean it, and I don't have to worry about, putting plastic into the landfills. So, same thing, I'm going to put it here. Now notice this hole though, I almost forgot to say this. Notice this hole is smaller, way smaller than this one. I can fit this straw inside here. So now, this is going to cause a little more pressure, a little more backing up. My vocal folds are going to have to work a little harder at coming up and squaring, and I'm going to build some muscle for that, but not in the false folds, right? And so I'm teaching myself and building new neural pathways, and those neural pathways are going to tell my folds, oh, this is what we do for ease of singing. So here we go. Now my bubbles are really, really boiling. But if I want them to be a little less than that, and I do, I'm going to not blow so much air. But you'll notice I'll still be able to phonate quite well. That's as opposed to. So in one way, I'm releasing more air, and in the other, I'm trying to control the amount of air, but still make the same kind of sound. Now here's something that some people, when they first start doing straw phonation, may discover. And that's why the bubbles and looking at the bubbles are really important. Because you may discover that you go, oh wait, how was there no bubbles? All the air was coming out of my nose. So if you're not having bubbles, it means that you're used to singing out of the nose or sending your air through the nose, which is going to sound when you sing. And that may sound normal to you because you're so used to it. But the idea is to figure out how to get the air to just strictly come through the mouth, close off the nose. The air has no other place to go. The air has to leave somewhere, and if I clog my nose, it will come out the mouth. That's going to feel strange to you if you're used to singing out of your nose. Now, I can sing all my songs this way, and I love to do it because number one, no one in the house can really hear me. Or if I'm like on a plane, planes are loud anyway, I can do it through a plastic bottle, which I don't really love, but I will do it on a plane. Plastic bottle, and that's a little more insulated. The hole at the top is a little smaller so people don't hear me. I can practice and warm up on the plane, especially if I have a gig on the other side. So there's lots of ways that I can warm up and sing without bothering people around me. I can sing my whole piece in this, and it teaches, like I said, it builds this neural pathway for what the folds should do. It's also like doing bicep curls for the voice. It gives you some muscular strength. It builds strength over time. And the smaller you use a straw, or the smaller straw you begin to use, the better. So once you feel like this is pretty easy, you might want to go to something that's smaller. And I like to use coffee stirrers. I don't have any here. I have some at my office where I teach at the university. And they give a lot of resistance. And I like to use those for a variety of reasons, but that's a different video and we can talk about that later. Just so you know, I have a really great straw here that I love. It's telescopes, so it gets very small. And I have my own carrying case. It just goes in this carrying case. And it has a cleaner. And this is called my personal straw. I like it. And depending on which end I use, I have bigger or smaller end. So doing some of my warm-ups in a straw is really great. This did give a little more resistance because of the telescoping effect. So that little bit of resistance and singing through the resistance, again, is like a body or bicep builder strengthening exercise for the vocalis or the vocal folds. All right, happy singing.